Hey neighbor, welcome back to ARTV. My name is John and it's time to review the highly anticipated 6th studio album Chromatica by the pop icon Lady Gaga. One thing Lady Gaga has always done undeniably well is her ability to get people talking. About her music, about her weird fashion choices, about her music videos, good press or bad press. She's certainly raised some eyebrows over time. She's also become more down-to-earth and relatable, I feel, for at least a lot of people in the age of social media, as the barrier was stripped away, later resulting in her most personal album, Joanne. Personally, that's probably still my favorite album of hers. It's so complete and authentic, but it again proved how diverse she could be musically by tackling this alternative country meets pop and rock sound. She released a new single the following spring called The Cure, which was much more in line with her electro-pop sounds of yesteryear, so it's no surprise that LG6 is 4 on the floor dance pop central. Stupid Love smashed the airwaves as the lead single, and while some criticized its simplicity, I actually kinda cherished that back-to-basics sensibility. The synths are straight up fantastic and the entire song is basically one long hook, and with the secondary single Rain on Me marking a perfectly executed collab with Ariana Grande, I was ready to throw on my dancing shoes only to take them back off because going to a club right now in the middle of quarantine, that would be hella irresponsible. Chromatica was assembled for the dance floor, but it's by no means a silly record with cheesy lyrics despite its decidedly 80s production cues. Alongside Joanne, this is once again an extremely personal outing, one that Gaga herself described as life-saving as she crafted each composition. With a wide array of electronic producers like Blood Pop, Madian, Burns, and Skrillex putting hands on the board, I'm surprised at how cohesive this record feels, and I certainly can't fault it for not having the care put in. Playing against it though is the one-notedness when it comes to the percussion. House and disco were two genres that influenced Gaga and her collaborators heavily, almost to the point of dizziness for the listener as we catch wind of the stomping around in the background of nearly every track. Whereas Stupid Love opted to fire up the synth machine and replay channeled rage through a massive beat build, a lot of this album is surprisingly tame production-wise, leaving me wanting more. More fire, more passion, hell, even more vocal moments that break out, since it really can take a few listens to even fall into the mood of Chromatica. It's certainly not a game over scenario like, oh no, I can't look past this, it's totally stripped away anything positive I could say. It's more of a slight irritation knowing that a handful of these could have popped off way harder, or to play devil's advocate, maybe it's just more of a club-oriented experience and I'm having a hard time getting that feeling I was meant to get while stuck at home. Lady Gaga is always a breath of fresh air in the world of pop, with one of her main calling cards being her ability to make entire albums worth hearing, not just the singles. A pop artist in the 21st century that's also an albums artist is a rarity that makes her worth praising, and I don't see Chromatica as a record that would ruin that streak or reputation at all. Despite its lack of nuance musically and the repetitive 80s and 90s house beats that can feel a bit flavorless, this is a well-written album that often sets pain and heartbreak to catchy upbeat songs. You can feel the catharsis bleeding through her words, even on the cuts that don't work for me entirely, and to see her moving on from addiction, assault, and pain so strong and collected is pretty uplifting. Why not start with the interludes? Everyone loves those, right? Well, not everyone. In fact, a lot of the time they can be pretty give or take for me in the context of a certain record, but the main reason that I'm talking about them here, outside of the fact that one does open up the album, is that they're actually really striking and beautiful. They're titled Chromatica I, II, and III, splitting the album off into 3 distinct sections, which led me to notice that this album does a lot of things in threes. 3 interludes, 3 sections of Chromatica, 3 singles released before the album, 3 guest collaborators, and the track list. Shit, at this point, I think she wants me to give this album a 3. I'm on to you, Lady Gaga. My side hustle as a private investigator might just become a reality if I keep on cracking codes like this. Okay, let's talk about the vessels of the album that keep its rhythmic heart beating, starting with track number 2, Alice. That sweeping, gentle introductory song breathes life back into you before tossing you into the vast wonderland of this massive highlight. The syncopated percussion smoothly carries Gaga's voice to make a stern, commanding dance floor anthem that actually feels really perfect for the start of summer. Both Stupid Love with its unstoppable synth swagger and Rain on Me with its A-list Ariana collab felt like top-tier Gaga tracks, with the latter really hitting me as something special the more listens I gave it. The biggest sucker punch the record offers is the 3-part dynamite blast of the Chromatica II interlude, 911, and Plastic Doll. The suspense builds as we drop into the dark-pounding synth world 911 offers. She cleverly delivers a story of personal struggles in a time where she felt completely unstable over a club beat that sounds like something you'd hear in rotation at a rave where people are dancing in cages. I really do wish that final drum build-up had unleashed a bit more at the end, but still, overall, not too many complaints. On the other side of the fence, I didn't at all care for the robotic fun tonight, which, along with a couple of other disappointments, kinda felt like Gaga going through the motions. I know her goal with Chromatica was to give the people what they want, which I suppose for most is electropop bangers, but I just don't feel any real passion coming off of tracks like that. I know a lot of you have just been anxiously sitting there waiting for me to talk about Sour Candy, 1 because it features the South Korean girl group BLACKPINK, and 2 because I never talk about K-pop on the channel. I'm not gonna get into a discussion as to why that is. I really don't like the toxic fandom so much, and I simply haven't been a fan of much of the stuff that I have heard, which admittedly is not that much. Surprisingly enough, the BLACKPINK feature actually worked for me. I mean, I don't think I'd call this the fine wine of Gaga's discography, but it's a simple 90s leaning synth house techno jam with a great groove to it, and for what it's worth, I think the small snippets we do get of the girls' voices get the job done when paired up with Lady Gaga's strong finish. Chromatica continues to find a strong balance in the back half with solid deep cuts like Enigma, which I do enjoy to an extent, the verses more so than the hook, but possibly vying for my top favorite from the LP comes right after that on Replay. Closing out the record, I do find cuts like 1,000 Doves to be among the weakest, and Babylon can be a bit of an acquired taste, but the undeniable monster lurking in the depths is Sine from Above, featuring the legendary Sir Elton John. With off-the-charts chemistry and powering instrumentals, this is a collab for the history books that really simply can't be missed, and that outro is perfection. Overall, I'd say that while certain tracks may feel a bit lukewarm by comparison, this is another solid outing from the pop star that's certainly a step down from the landmark Joanne album, but a solid foray back to her roots and then some. Check the description to see all of my favorites and least favorites and all that good stuff. Stream the record for yourself because, of course, this is all just my opinion, but I'm gonna go with a 3.5 out of 5 for Chromatica by Lady Gaga. Audience question, would you be interested in seeing an updated top 10 countdown for Gaga now that 2 more records have dropped since I made my initial list? Let me know in the comments, and tap here to see that original video, or tap this card over here to see my review of Joanne. Support me on Patreon to help fund the content like this at the top link in the description, and follow the socials you see on screen, and I'll see you soon for more on ARTV.